Pull up, grab the fuel nozzle, and get ready to fuel up on trends and strategies to grow your travel center business in this episode of The Truck Stops Here, brought to you by NATSO. Now, here's your host, Amy Toner.
Hello, and welcome to today's episode of The Truck Stops Here. I'm your host, Amy Toner. You are listening to The Truck Stops Here, the NATSO Foundation's podcast. The NATSO Foundation is the research, education, and public outreach subsidiary of NATSO. The podcast is just one of the many educational tools the foundation creates. Today, I am joined by Tom Parbs. He is the Senior Director of Sales for HaasAlert. Hi, Tom.
Hey, Amy. Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming. Okay, so this month, HaasAlert and the NATSO Foundation announced a partnership, which is why we're having Tom on. The NATSO Foundation's partnership with HaasAlert is part of a multi-pronged initiative designed to help keep roadside service technicians safe and to address critical safety issues for truck repair providers. By joining with the NATSO Foundation, HaasAlert will offer roadside service technicians nationwide with tools, technologies, and solutions to keep them safe. So welcome.
Thank you. I really appreciate the partnership. HaasAlert is very excited to be working with the NATSO Foundation, all the NATSO members, and really, this is a great opportunity to make sure we're getting more people home safer to their families every day.
Yeah, I know you and I have been talking for a while, and I think we're both excited about it. Why don't you start by telling us about HaasAlert? Like, when did it come about? What does the company do?
Yeah, so HaasAlert's been around since 2015. In fact, how our company started, so I work directly underneath our CEO, Corey, who's one of the co-founders. And so, we're from the Chicagoland area. Corey was on his way home from work and was almost struck and killed by a responding ambulance. And I mean, near death, very close call. And he was shooken up about it. And the biggest thing in his mind was, how did I not hear it? How did I not see it? Mm-hmm. This is a pretty big vehicle, right? Bright lights, loud sirens, air horns, but he couldn't hear it. He couldn't see it and literally almost died. And so the more we kept looking into this, the more we realized this is a big problem, not just from a life standpoint for our heroes that work the roadway, but also for our community members, right? Our family members, our friends, right? The people that are on the roadways. We've just realized there's a big roadway safety problem. So in 2015, we started our company. We created Safety Cloud. Mm-hmm. Our mission is a connected collision-free world where everybody gets home safer to their families. We're a GovTech Top 100 company, so we do work with Homeland Security, FEMA, US DOT. We have a lot of the school bus projects to protect our school children that are being picked up and dropped off. They're at risk too. Mm-hmm. We do work with the Department of Defense, and then we're working with thousands and thousands and thousands of agencies across all roadway types. So from mobile mechanics and towing, roadside, fire, law enforcement, emergency medical, work zones, garbage trucks, street sweepers. I mean, you name it. If the roadway is your office, we're going to protect you and make sure you go home safer to your family every day.
And the program is called Safety Cloud, right?
Safety Cloud, yeah. So our company is HaasAlert. Yep. And so the safety product we have is called Safety Cloud.
Okay. And how does it work?
Yeah, so great question. So if you think about the slow down, move over laws that are in every state and every province in Canada, really it's around flashing lights. When you see flashing lights, your responsibility as a motorist is to slow down and move over. Often we as motorists don't actually see those lights or hear those sirens until it's too late. We're on top of them or they're on top of us. And that's why the tragedy keeps striking with these preventable collisions, the injuries, and unfortunately the deaths. And the problem keeps getting worse and worse. So here's how simple this is. If somebody is utilizing Safety Cloud, whether I give them a free alerting transponder, right? That they just connect to power, ground, and then the flashing lights trigger. Or if we utilize maybe some of the existing equipment that they have. But simply put, when lights get turned on, my Safety Cloud is activated. And for emergency responders, so think like fire, emergency medical, law enforcement, right? When they're moving somewhere, we're sending moving alerts. And then when that vehicle is stopped or on scene, so think like a mobile mechanic or a tow or a roadside assist, when they're stopped on a roadway, lights are activated, we're sending alerts 30 seconds in advance so that we're in people's cars, we're disrupting their phones, there's radios, disrupting those conversations. We're getting their attention, disrupting the distraction, and giving people enough time and space that they can safely slow down and move over. So that 30 seconds is critical because on a high moving roadway like a highway, we're giving people a half a mile notice so they have enough time and space to slow down because they're going so fast. They'll travel about a half a mile in 30 seconds. So get their attention, make them aware ahead of time, enough time and space, they actually can slow down and move over. And then no different than if you're on a city street or like a side road where speed limits are slower, we're still getting their attention 30 seconds in advance, but that might be a couple blocks because that vehicle is going much slower. So simply put, disrupt the distraction, get their attention. Now they see all this amazing, lights and safety stuff that people are using. They have enough time and space to slow down, move over, and they actually slow down and they actually move over and everybody's going home safer to their families.
So I'm in my car, I'm driving. Shoemaker's truck stop has put it in their roadside repair trucks. How do I get the message in my car?
Yeah, that's great. So we've got quite a few alerting partners that we work with today. So commonly, Waze, which is owned by Google bought them in 2013 for about $1.3 billion. Waze is one of the number one most used road and traffic info app. So you do not have to be using turn-by-turn directions, right? Whether Waze is on your phone or it's running through your Apple CarPlay or Android Auto, Ford Sync, right through your infotainment system. We're going to give an audible and visual alert so that people can see it or hear it. Obviously, there might be some that are hearing impaired, so they'll see the visual alert, but they may not hear it. That's why we pass the audible and the visual, but we're passing that through your phone, through your infotainment system, natively through the car, and we're using partners like Waze, which is owned by Google, Apple Maps, and then we're also native in 2018 and newer models of Chrysler, Dodge, Jeep, and Ram. Our alerts go off on 511, and then we're also partnered with DriveWise as well, so we can deliver alerts to those commercial vehicles on the roadway.
And then what about the driver of the Shoemaker's roadside repair truck? Do they have to do anything?
No, that's the beautiful part. Whether I provide the equipment, right, my alerting transponder, or we're utilizing the existing equipment that, and I can go into that a little bit more if you'd like, Amy. But we're utilizing existing equipment they may have. That's the beautiful part. Like Shoemakers, their driver doesn't have to do anything different. We don't have to train them. They just do their job. When lights get activated, the safety cloud is created. When they're stopped working on scene, my alerts are going out automatically, so they're safer. Their customer is safer, and people are slowing down and moving over, so that driver goes home safer. And they didn't have to train them to do anything different. They just did their job. The only action they took was simply just taking a few minutes to put the transponder on the vehicle with 3 wires. Okay.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that. Tell me more about the equipment so they can either use your equipment or...
Yes. So we have our HA5 transponder, which is a self-contained system. There's no cost if somebody is using the safety cloud service. We're providing them with that piece of equipment. It's got a satellite chip in it, cellular, data, antenna, everything's in it. So like I said, it takes about 20-ish minutes. Connected with 3 wires, power, ground, and then the trigger wire, right, to flashing lights. Then there are instances where I don't have to give you the equipment. So when I talk about the existing equipment, we have some great integration partners. So if any of the NATSO members are using Samsara, GeoTab, WebFleet, Fleet Complete as telematics, you already have the equipment. I just have to do the API integration, just make the systems talk. You connect an auxiliary wire to the lights, and that's it. So very, very easy. We also have some partnerships with some great dispatching systems. So if they're using like Beacon Dispatch, which is often called Dispatch Anywhere, or TOPS Dispatch, they're part of the Traxero family. If they're using that dispatching platform, then we can just easily activate a switch and it automatically turns on the alerting for through those dispatching platforms. And then additionally, we can also use Cradlepoint, which is a great partner of ours as well. If you have Cradlepoint, which is the mobile routers that can be deployed on vehicles, we can also utilize that existing equipment. So if you have that existing equipment, we just need to connect the systems. You connect a wire, done. So it's very seamless and pain-free, whichever route. Do I have to give you a device, or do I just turn it on through your existing equipment?
And it's that advanced notice that makes the difference, right? I mean, because I've been in so many conversations that NATSO members saying, well, the move over laws already exist. But it sounds like what I liked about your system is it just makes a difference.
Yeah, so you're 100%. So every state has a move over law.
Right.
Now, what I love is a few states, and then Virginia actually just enacted this over the weekend on Saturday. Any vehicle that has flashing lights, so this could even be a disabled motorist that has their hazards on, right? Or one of the NATSO members, one of your customers, right, that has, one of those commercial vehicles, that's kind of a sitting duck, as the industry calls it, with its lights flashing. So we have great slow down, move over laws. Here's the challenge. Most motorists are very confident. They know the slow down, move over laws. There's an awareness problem. So if you think over the last several decades, we're using lights, we're using high vis, cones, triangles, flares, message boards, signs. I'm seeing, message signs, and these are all great things. We're not trying to replace any of that, but all of this is in the outside world. The people on the roadways today, and even the listeners, if you're in your car listening to this podcast right now, you're in a soundproof cocoon with the outside world literally designed to stay outside while you're listening to your radio, which is one of the biggest distractions in a car. So all of our roadway safety stuff is it only works if you have someone's attention. And since we have an awareness problem where they're not aware of you until you're on top of them or they're on top of you, you need to if you're going to make all this great safety stuff work better, you have to get their attention in the car in enough time with enough space that they can slow down and move over. That's what's missing. So we're not a replacement to any of this awesome safety stuff. And when the problem happens, it's not the fault of these awesome roadway heroes. They're just doing their job. But we end up paying the price for it, with our equipment or with our bodies or with our lives. And so it's really our responsibility to make sure, are we doing everything to create awareness? And if you're not in that vehicle getting their attention, they're not going to see you until it's too late. And that's why a lot of motorists don't think it's dangerous. Like, oh gosh, I didn't realize that mobile mechanic was there, but they zipped right past. And we all dealt with near misses. Right. They're like, oh, well, that was safe, right? I'm a safe driver. They don't realize listening to the radio, talking to passengers, having that Bluetooth phone conversation, which is like driving with a 0.08 blood alcohol content. Motorists don't just realize that all this multitasking that they're doing is distracted driving. So they're not aware of you. So we'll help create that awareness. So all of this amazing safety stuff that you're using works better. And that means less vehicles hit, less injuries, less deaths. We can help get to Vision Zero today, not tomorrow, not next month, not next year. And this is what I'm excited about with NATSO, right? We want to get people home safer together. And that's a mission and a vision that we share together. And I'm excited to do that for, the members of NATSO.
Yeah, me too. Absolutely. Okay. So you already answered my question while we're partnering together. We've been talking, I don't know, for 7 or 8 months. And I feel like it's just so nice that we're always on the same page, right? We're just trying to get people safe and we're trying to figure out the best way to do that. And I think, I don't know, it makes me happy to work with you guys.
It does. It does. And I know, this is, we have quite a few partnerships that are out there. And it's a very common theme. It's like-minded individuals at these organizations or at the organizational level, right? These missions of how do we benefit our members? How do we benefit and make the roadway safer? How do we protect people and get them home safer? And so it's great, whether it's partnering with AAA, whether it's, as a preferred supplier, whether it's TRAA, being partnered with, AASHTO and the ATSSA and the National Safety Council and NHTSA and, responder safety, .com, and just all these agencies and these organizations from state associations to federal associations. We sit on boards for a lot of these as kind of a roadway safety leader.
Right.
I find that when you have people that are genuinely, truly care about really making the roadway safer, like HaasAlert. Yes, we have a product that you can buy. It makes you safer, but we genuinely, you don't have to buy anything from us. If you want to talk to us, talk about safety, we just want to make sure people go home safer to their families every day, because even one loss per year is too much. And so we're just passionate, and we work with passionate people, and to be partnered with NATSO, and how passionate you are, Amy, and your team is to making the roadway safer. It's like birds of a feather, right? We're just
Absolutely.
very, very, very focused on safety.
Okay. What do you wish everyone knew about staying safe on the road?
So a couple things. I wish that people understood that when you listen to the radio, it's one of the most distracted times that a person is when they're driving in a car. That's why nowadays, if you put your car in reverse, it dims your radio when you're backing up, so you can concentrate, you can think better. It's why back in the day, right, we used to turn the radio down when we're looking for an address so we could see a little bit better.
Yeah.
I wish people realize that if you are driving any kind of motor vehicle and you're having a phone conversation, like through your earpiece or through that Bluetooth, it's like driving impaired. As a society, we're used to, whether it's shaving our face or eating food, drinking coffee, these are all distractions. And people we think of it as multitasking. And what really, that's just a nice way of saying I drive distracted. And so I wish people understood that doesn't mean that they're bad drivers, but I wish that they understood that they just knew that despite how good of a driver you are, when you're doing these things, you are distracted, and it requires awareness. And I wish that our roadway workers, right, be it the mobile mechanics, the towers, right, work zone, I just wish that they understood that what's missing to get you home safer and really get to vision zero, like everyone talks about, is creating awareness inside of the vehicle when they need to know. We have an expression: you want drivers to slow down, move over, we have to tell them. It's like your seatbelt alert warns you every time you forget to put it on with that audible visual alert. If you give somebody an audible visual alert to slow down, move over with enough time to get out of your way, they will do it. And that means you'll go home safer to your family, and we can really get to that vision zero that everybody wants. So it's kind of both sides of the aisle, if you will. Motorists need to understand, yes, you're great drivers, but we are distracted. That's just the society we live in because of multitasking. And then our roadway industry needs to understand we're doing a great job, but we lack awareness inside a vehicle. And without it, all this outside world stuff really becomes ineffective because it's designed to stay on the side of the road, not inside of that cocoon, which is the vehicle that people are driving in. So if we work together on this and see that, more people are going to be alive, more families are going to stay together, and more people are going to be safer on the road. That's what I wish everybody knew.
Speaking of working together, how can people get a hold of you if they're interested in working?
Absolutely. So they're welcome to email me. My email is Tom, Tom, at HAASAlert.com. HAAS is HAAS alert.com. You can also go to our website, HaasAlert.com, and you can learn more about, there's how-to videos. We have case studies. You could simply, request more information. You can request a pricing quote or a demo, whatever it is that you need, but feel free to email me. I'm happy to chat. You don't have to buy anything. I love talking safety. And if it just means that, we have a great safety discussion and we're focused on getting more people home safer, I'm happy to do it. Just give me an email. Let me know how I can help and consider it done.
Okay. All right. Before I let you go, we're going to ask you our fun questions.
Okay.
Okay. What's your go-to on the road snack?
Reese's Peanut Butter Cups.
Nice. Okay. If you're stuck in a truck stop in a snowstorm, how do you pass the time?
Okay. So I would probably play the arcades. Every truck stop that I've ever been has like a little arcade. And even if it's like just that claw game, I almost call it the hook game, but that claw game, like addicted to the claw game. My kids also know that dad is very good at playing that claw game, even though it's a crapshoot. So every time we see one, got to put a couple bucks in. So chances are, if I'm stuck in a snowstorm, I'd probably be
the machine will be empty by the time you're done, huh?
Or my pockets will be empty because I'd be like, oh shoot, I got to do it again.
Okay. Do you prefer to ride or drive?
I prefer to drive. As a rider, I'm a bad passenger. Being a passenger, being on the road, it actually kind of lulls me to sleep. So if I drive, I'm awake. I like to be the captain of the ship. Otherwise, I'm a very poor passenger because I'll fall asleep. My wife dislikes that.
That's funny. Okay. And how do you take your truck stop coffee?
Iced with cream and sugar.
Okay. And then we'll end on a controversial question.
Okay.
Is it a truck stop, travel center, or travel plaza?
Say that one more time.
It's kind of inside baseball, but is it truck stop, travel center, or travel plaza? What's the right term?
A travel center.
Travel center. Okay. All right. Thanks, Tom.
Did I get it right?
It's faux. Everyone says it differently. There's no right answer.
There's no right answer.
No.
I wonder, has there ever been a survey out on that? Like this many percentage of people call it a truck stop. This percentage of people call it a travel center.
No, but we could do it.
That would be interesting to see what it is. No, awesome. Well, this has been great. Thank you very much for having me on. Most importantly, I'm grateful for all the work that we've done. And this is just the beginning. We've got work to do to keep the NATSO members safer, and I'm looking forward to it. More people going home to their families every day is a great mission, and I'm glad to be in the trench with you, Amy.
Yeah, me too. All right. Thanks for listening to today's episode of The Truck Stops Here. You can find us online at natso.com/podcast. If you have any questions or you want to be on the podcast, please reach out to me at editor@natso.com. Bye.
The Truck Stops Here was brought to you by NATSO, the association representing truck stops and travel centers. Visit natso.com for more information.